So somebody on Twitch told me to watch this play from Myths.
Violet, he's going to go for the suplex surely on towards them, slam him down to Bio's head. Violet's in trouble, but he's living. He's still alive with the wild growth there. It does not matter. Shinjuan doing whatever he can, but finally, Violet falls and then he had flash in about 5 seconds. It is a tragedy, to say the least. Henry gets 2, procs the Archangel's shield, stays around a little bit longer, gives his shield across to Bio, who's stuck in a bit of a rocky hard place. Big flash, but Emphis denies it.
Did he even get in a... What the fuck? Week 1 of the LCO is done and dusted. The LCO is officially back, which means it's time for the return of everyone's favorite show that nobody has ever seen once in their life. It's the Poor Peas of Formal. Welcome to the very first debut of this new format, sort of recap, future prediction show, whatever you want to call it. The idea is we're going to go through the 4 most important Ps in esports and break down everything that has to offer. Now, what are those Ps? Well, the first one, and arguably the most important in any sort of recap show, you got to go over the top plays of the week. That's right. I'm going to be bringing you the best plays, the best action, the best representation that the LCO has to offer. And then those power rankings. Everyone loves a good list. Everyone loves a good power ranking. And it's all about how you bring that power. So I'll be covering that in all of its glory. All 8 teams listed in a definitive official as it can be list. Then we're going to build, well, a dream team from the players. We're going to see who the best players are. Post me here. Look, I just realized having 2 Ps be both plays and players, that's actually not 4 like separate Ps then. That in fact, those are arguably the same one. So we're just going to make a little bit of a sneaky little snip edit in there in the middle. And we're going to pretend nobody can notice. So that third P, of course, is positions, where we're going to be going through every single position and highlighting who is the best where. Obviously, you know, only one for each spot. Which player will get it? We'll find out. And then we'll go to the last and arguably the least important P, predictions. Who is going to win on Monday and Tuesday? What are those score lines going to be? Well, don't worry. I have the answers, and I'll be letting you know. Now that we've laid down the ground rules, I want to kind of go straight into it, all right? So, without further ado, let's get into those top 5 LCO Week 1 plays, moments, highlights. And at number 5, well, look, it's pretty obvious right now. Kasei was dominating so hard. They watched their teammate get death bushed. And then you know what? They walk in anyways. Why? Well, first of all, you have the best jungler backing you up. But the second thing, look at the damage. Look at that immediate double kill. They'll follow up. Invictus can't get away. That's going to be a triple. It was a play so good. The LCO actually rewound it to play it again. I think this is the only time they did it during the weekend, but it was definitely worthy of it. Just blink and you miss it. The damage, they are gone. That's going to be play number 5. But for play number 4, kind of proving that you don't always need to be on the Rift to kind of make that magic happen. I mean, just look at, listen to Doramon in this interview.
The scrim set we had last week was like kind of woke us all up. Like we were just getting fisted, and then yeah.
Look, I'm not one to question. I'm not one to judge. If that's how you get yourselves in position to play the game and get the results that you got, all the power to you. Just, no, not judging. That's not my thing. Congrats, you got the win. Well done, and you properly freaked out Natty. So I mean, and Skimmy. Actually, I think Skimmy probably had the worst or best facial reaction there. So good on you, Doramon, and good on you, Ion, for that. I hope the fisting continues, and you continue to find that success, pound that success in. At number 3, though, I mean, look, it's a moment that I think everyone here can relate to. We've all been there. We've all had this moment. Everything lines up. You're going to make that sick flash hook play. You're going to come out on top, but, well, the target's not there. A little bit awkward from from this Nautilus here. I can't pronounce names, so I'm not going to lie. I haven't slept, and I don't think, we're going to be seeing this Nautilus sleeping either, just reliving the mistake of this miss time and time again. But it is that representation of Oceanic League of Legends that we love. That's getting that number 3 spot. However, number 2 now is another one. It's time we get to the nitty-gritties. Top 2 is where we should be putting our best foot, or in this case, best forehead forward. Reeler's camera. My goodness, right up in there. And this is a short clip on a loop, but it was like this all game long. It never stopped. It just never stopped. Every time we cut to Reeler, intensity. It was right in your face. And if I were going for ground zero, I would be intimidated. Now, this is why I don't play professionally. It didn't work. Ground zero rolled over the top of Kanga. But, hey, still got on the top plays. That's a good award for you, Reeler. Well done. But there can only be one number one play. And, you know, for all those support and bot laners, this one may have been a little bit cathartic for you all. It was the tone setter, I like to call it. Play number one comes from Team Bliss's bottom down here, and it's the classic, you know, 3-man early dive. You think you got the kill on Scott, and then all of a sudden that passive pops him right back up. Violet not afraid to flash forward either. Turn this disaster into a triple, and then all of a sudden, you know, this Aphelios, who's supposed to be this late-game scaler, they have 3 kills before the 7-minute mark. They're giving the thumbs up as well, something Bliss did all day long, and that got themselves not only the win in the end, but, more importantly, the number one play of the week. To recap our top 5 plays, at number 5, it was Cassie's River, and everyone else was swimming in it. At number 4, Doraemon's unique pregame. Hey, it worked for them. The fisting came through. At number 3, Naughty was not so hotty with that flash hook whiff. Number 2, Reeler's big brain on full display. And, of course, number 1, Violet's triple, the tone setter, getting the job done. Just like me trying to make, you know, jokes about fisting and not having the courage to do it, sometimes there's a little bit of dishonor in what goes on right here, and a dishonorable mention is sometimes due as well. So, yeah, it's flashing up there because we have a dishonorable mention award to be given out. And it was actually happening during that same game, Direwolves versus Bliss. Well, it was the next game. Either way, Direwolves, they should have been embarrassed after what happened. They should be, you know, out there looking for revenge. But instead, we saw friendship on the Rift. What is this? Why are we playing nice? Why are we being friendly? This is supposed to be combat. This is supposed to be aggressive. Yeah, the thumbs up were there, but nah, man, that's not what I want to see. Get that out of my face. Get that off the screen. If I see these two teams playing nice again, there will be strongly worded letters because the pen is mightier than the sword, and both those teams will know about it. But enough about the plays. That's in the past. I want to start looking ahead towards the future and give you the power rankings of where we should expect to place these teams based on the past, based on those past results. It's still all about the past. It's always about the past. Why is it always the past? I don't know. Let's get into it. At number 8, we have Fury. But then, coming in at number 7, we have Mammoth Gaming. How am I supposed to rank a team that didn't play? Like, actually, what are we supposed to do here? How do I rank this team? They didn't play. They didn't have a roster. Fury was still worse. Like, Fury was objectively still worse than the team without a roster. But Mammoth didn't have a roster. They're 7. At number 6, we have Antic. Same thing. Same thing. They didn't play. Like, how can I judge a roster that didn't play? Yes, on paper, ooh, people are picking them to win or at least finals at minimum. Oh, this is going to be the team to get us to MSI. Yeah, but they didn't play. I can't rank them. They're 6. They're better on paper than Mammoth. They're 6. That's how it goes. I'm sorry. It's harsh reality of the world, but you got to play to get ranked. That's just common sense. At number 5, giving it to Kanga. Now, look, Kanga was an interesting one. I think it's safe to say. I mean, yeah, obviously they didn't win, so you're not really going to be getting high on the power rankings until I see you know, win some gangs. But at that same token, I still like the potential of this lineup, and I think that game 2, they showed a little bit more fight than anything Fury showed us. That said, the Reeler Kurak lane, more the Kurak Pike pick just didn't work. Pike didn't work. So I think we could take Pike and go boop, 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 throw it off. No more Pike. I don't know. Maybe the Ducks. The Ducks are Pike. Here we go. So we could take Pike and go boop, 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 boop. Goodbye. Ducks are Pike. Pike is gone. But outside of that, I do think this team can be hopefully looking to bounce back in the future. I think this team still is a mid, possibly upper mid team, maybe even lower mid. I don't know. Five is the right place for them right now. We're keeping them at 5. At number 4, it's going to be the Dire Wolves. I think an argument can be made quite easily that out of all the teams that fell short in that first week of play, the Direwolves probably looked the best. Now, I know Myths had some whiffs, and that was rough. But we saw River showing some adventurous moments on the Riven pick. That happened as well. Yeah. Look, all the teams that dropped their first games weren't that great, but the Direwolves kept things really competitive in their second game, and there's a few times they even had the lead in that affair. Like, I know we were kind of joking about Myths whiffs before, but they still kind of came out on top of that team fight. Like, they were still getting advantages. They just weren't able to seal the deal. End story, though, this team has potential. This team can rise back up. Don't count the Direwolves out just yet. I have them ranked right now at number 4. But then, coming in at number 3... it's the newbies, the young guns. It's Team Ion. Look, I think Team Ion caught a lot of people off guard, all right? I don't think a lot of people were expecting these guys to kind of look as competent and as strong as they did, but realistically, they outdrafted Fury, they outlaned Fury, they just outplayed, and they beat down Fury, and it was great to watch. I mean, Dormon on the top lane looked good. Nebula and Foreigner, they were looking great. I think that combo is going to be scary moving forward, and they looked very competitive. Now, yeah, they're probably, out of the 3 teams that did win, they might not be the strongest. And once we do see, teams like Antic actually get some games under their belt, there's very likely could be dropping a couple places. But if their goal is playoffs, if their goal is to make some waves and get an upset or two, well, they put a good name for themselves moving forward. I'm sure a lot of people still have them ranked 7th, but you know what? Not me. They looked better than pretty much 5 of the other teams out there. So that's why they're up at number 3. At number 2, Team Bliss. Look, I'm going to be real. Putting Bliss at number 2 might be a little bit surprising because, again, that lineup looks amazing. And the Scott Violet bot lane, Scott looked so much better than he did in anything InterVarsity related. Why not could make an argument for probably being the best or second best jungler of the event through that first week. But that's kind of maybe a little bit the problem I have. Maybe I'm leaning more towards the second best than necessarily the best. Their second game against the Direwolves wasn't the cleanest. It got sloppy at times. Yeah, why not did have that sick Herald steal. Yeah, that bot lane popped off at moments, but they should have been able to close out better. They should have been able to end that game that little bit faster, and that's maybe it wasn't as slow as what Ion did to close out games, but I expected a little bit more from Bliss. They're sitting at number 2. They are my second best team at the moment because at number 1 is Ground Zero. Like, at number 1, it's Ground Zero. Shock and awe. Here, let me put it up. Boom, Ground Zero. It's the last team left. I'm sure you could have been able to figure out. Ground Zero, number 1 team on my power rankings. And how could they not be? That mid-jungle combo rolled everybody. I mean, look, I don't want to say this league is going to turn into, what it was, 5 to 40, 1v39, all right. But if anyone was going to 1v39, it would be Kisi. He would do it. Kisi would do it, and we saw it. LeBlanc, pop-off game. Azir, pop-off game. Nothing could be done to slow him down or stop him. Like, it was terrifying watching him work. And that is going to be very, very concerning, I think, for everybody moving forward. Like, if that form continues, okay, look, let's be real. There's a good chance that form might not continue all the way through everything, but Surefire's pathing, just absolutely beating down the bot lane from the word go. Unfortunately, like, Kanga couldn't do anything to stop it, and then Kisi was able to start roaming around and getting the LeBlanc kills, getting the Azir kills. It was just complete and utter annihilation from a team that I think maybe surprised a couple people how strong they looked. Ground Zero, my number 1 team. So again, to recap, 8 is Fury, 7 is Mammoth, 6 is Antic, 5 is Kanga, 4 is the Direwolves, 3 is Ion, 2 is Bliss, and number 1, Ground Zero. They are the power rankings. So write it down, everybody. take the notes. Remember that. Those power rankings are going to be important because we still have the predictions coming later, all right? We still have to get to the predictions. They're last on the docket. I know they're the most important thing. But before I can tell you who's going to win, who's going to draw, because there are draws. Remember, we're Europe rules now. We draw it now. We got to go through the best players in each position of the week. Starting off with the top lane, our best top laner of round number 1, it's Doramon. Because look, not only did Doramon give us the best interview of the entire week, but if you're training by getting fisted, well, then you're going to be prepared for situations like this. Getting dove by not 1 but 2 players, and then, yeah, turning it into a cheeky 2 kills. I know the second kill's coming. Trust me, the second kill's coming. That's something that only getting fisted repeatedly, frequently, and often can get you prepared for. Fisted in lane, I mean. I don't know what else you guys were thinking, but the point is Doramon had a strong performance, not just on that Gragas, but on the Cassante in the future as well. They're going to be my top lane pick. In the jungle, it is none other than Schernfire. And I mean, look, got a couple clips to show you all to kind of show why. And trust me, these are going to be 2 separate clips, although they're going to look the exact same. But Schernfire's approach of just constantly beating down that bot lane, like it was the successful play. You can see right here, boom, let's get some kills, and it looks pretty good. Oh, is Correct going to get out? No, not quite, because we have a jungler who understands, hey, let's keep this bot lane down. All right, well, maybe they kind of fell on that one. That was the second one. But again, it was the second of actually like 3 or 4. This is a different clip I'm playing right now. This one is different. It looks the same. But if you notice, Correct's on a different champion. We're not on the Pike anymore. So sorry, I had that the wrong way around. Look, it was, yeah, it's what they did. You think Correct's going to get out of this one? You think they're okay? Well, actually, they kind of are. But the point is, it was the constant beatdowns of that lane. And it wasn't just that. The aggressive pathing, the understanding of how to play that Jin Zhao, Schernfire, going to be my jungle pick. Into the mid lane, though, it's his teammate. Yeah. Again, we saw the Azir play before, but it wasn't just that. It was the LeBlanc as well. Now, keep track of the kills on this one. When this play starts, yeah, they're only sitting on 2. In this clip, it's only a minute long, but boom, there's the 3rd. Kurak's going to step up, think I can mess with Kisi, but you can't. You can't do it. No one can right now. Like, best player in the region at this stage, dare I say, at least, playing in the LCO. I know, shout out to Zornos, first challenger. Thumbs up, dude. I want to see you back on this Rift. I want to see you back playing professionally. That's neither here nor there. Arrow from downtown. Kisi's going to be all over that. Boom, let's go unstoppable. That's 5. Again, remember, this clip started at 2. And getting 3 kills in a minute, yeah, that could be pretty impressive. But that's not impressive enough for ground 0. They want more than that. Reeler steps too far forward. Hello, and then goodbye. Another one, and uh-oh, is that an angry Rengar? Yeah, don't worry. He gets out of it just fine. Just another day in the life of Kisi, and a reason why they are my mid laner of the week. But for the bot lane, I'm just going Bliss's bot lane. Give it to Violet. Give it to Scott. And I'm going to play the number 1 play again. Again, you guys, it needs to be re-emphasized. And I'll do it with all the players over the top, all right? Like, I'm not messing with my layers. But the point was, like, you can see it happening beneath. Like, these are the types of plays I expect these 5 to pull off, okay? This stream looks like a mess because the bot lane was a mess. And the only ones who were able to successfully navigate it were Violet and Scott. They did it. They got it done. Job well done for these 2. But it wasn't just that play either. That wasn't the only reason why they did it. And I'm going to shout out Scott specifically for this one right here. Watch Scott's face on this one. Just watch the expression on Scott. My man is stepping up to get some harass under the tower. Gives him the thumbs up. Expressionless. Doesn't emote at all. Might be giving the thumbs up. Might be memeing, having a good time. But he is focused, dialed in. You know what that means? That was one of those, I'm going to get in your head emotes. That was the mental warfare emote. And that's what I want from my support. Give it up for Scott. Give it up for this team. This is the dream team from week 1. And that leaves us with just 1 P left. Predictions. So, going into our next week, these are the matches we're going to be looking at. Bliss, Mammoth, Ion, Direwolves, Kanga, Fury, Antic, Ground 0. And how are they all going to play out? Well, that first game right up there at the top, 2-0 Bliss. Again, Mammoth, don't know what they look like. Didn't field a roster. Bliss looking arguably like a finalist team, one can safely say, and it would be a shocker if Mammoth even takes one game with how strong Bliss performed. That said, maybe some questions on Bliss's ability to finish. I think they'll have cleaned up and improved since week 1. I think Bliss will be fine. They take that first series 2-0. Following that, we go to Ion versus Direwolves. Draw. Direwolves showed enough for me that they could be competitive, and Ion still has question marks. Yeah, they looked good, but they didn't look great in their 2-0 victory. In fact, that first game I think could have ended 15 minutes before it actually did, and those are the kind of weaknesses a team like the Direwolves might be able to capitalize on. This one's going to go even 1-1 apiece for our first draw of the season. Following that, Kanga versus Fury. 2-0 Kanga. I don't trust Fury at all. Fury showed me nothing to be excited about, nothing for me to get on that bandwagon for, except for Reeler's. Oh, no, that was Kanga. They don't even have Reeler's forehead. Kanga has Reeler's forehead. The forehead's going to be even bigger. It's going to be even more massive. It's going to be even more of a big brain. I'm giving it to Kanga 2-0 in that, which brings us to our main event, Antic versus Ground Zero. Arguably a grand final preview, unless Bliss has something to say about it. Well, here's what I have to say about it. I'm not picking it. I'm calling it a draw. It's too risky. Why would I stake my claim on such an even matchup? Now, they're going to draw. It's going to be boring. Everyone's going to be teased. We're going to tease it a bit. But then when we come back to it at the end of the year, ooh, boy, is it going to be a big one. So there you have it, the 4 P's of formal. Look, I've never done anything like this. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm trying. I'm throwing everything on the wall, and we're trying to see what sticks. This is more... There's more work that got put into it than maybe kind of shows, all right? Even though I thought it would be easy to make jokes about fisting. Apparently it's hard, all right? Who knew? But the point is, I want to keep doing this. And I'm the kind of person that feeds off that feedback and feeds off that sort of love and support. So if you enjoyed what you saw, please, please, please drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe. I'm going to be trying to do one of these a week. Probably not the day before. I'm probably going to be doing them a little bit beforehand because then I don't have to rush it all on a Sunday morning with bags under my eyes because I don't know how to sleep like a normal person. But that is my game plan moving forward. Shout out, by the way, to Papa Pike. He did something similar. I know. I think his was probably maybe a little bit more relevant to those in the scene. But, hey, he's inspiring people like me to get out and give it a go. I'm giving it a try. We're going to be working a lot together later in the year. So hopefully, I don't know, collab Pike, maybe. Collab. Anyways, it's been great. Love you all so much. Have a good one.